YouTube, what is up? It is Paradigm, Paradigm, Paradigimon, whatever you guys want to call me. We're bringing you a brand new video, and today we are covering the top 5 tips for new people in Pixelmon. This is going to be on the complex gaming server, so if you have a different server that you're playing on, things may be slightly different, but for the most part, this should all be the same. So tip number 1 coming in is going to be building your Apricorn farm. Apricorns allow you to make Pokeballs. Pokeballs are useful for catching Pokemon, for selling, for money. Just about everything in the game revolves around Pokeballs. So Apricorns, you can run around in the wild, you can pick them like this, get them into your inventory, and then you can replant them, sell them where else. There is usually a limit to the server, like we hit our cap limit of amount of Apricorns we could have in an area, but as you can see, we are going to be pretty set. This is a pretty ginormous Apricorn farm. Tip number 2 is something that we are actively still working on, which is get you a Ditto. Whether or not it's a perfect IV Ditto, it doesn't have to be, but there are a couple of ways to do that. So the first way, which is going to, in my opinion, be the hardest way, is going to be to get the cloning machine, find a Mew, and try to clone Mewtwo. Try to make Mewtwo. Mewtwo has a chance of also being Ditto, so you have a chance of getting Mewtwo or Ditto. If you happen across a Mew, this is a good opportunity for you to get that Ditto. However, Mew's really hard to come by on the server. It has to spawn on top of you in the jungle, so you have to be super lucky. So that's not probably a viable way for us. The other way is to go around and to catch all the Pidgey and the Rattata that are in the area, and there is a small chance that Pidgey or Rattata could be a Ditto. So there's a very low chance, like 0.00005% or something like that. But there is a chance. So if you are really dedicated to getting that Ditto, you can just go around, catch a bunch of, you can look at the whole table on the Pixelmon wiki. But like Pidgey is 1, Rattata is 1. I think those two have some of the higher rates of being a Ditto. And the last way, which is probably the way we're going to end up getting a Ditto, is if you are in your furnace. So you go to your furnace, you have some iron ingots in there. You pull those iron ingots out. Every single time you pull the iron ingots out, there's a chance of spawning a Meltan into the server. Now, this is a 1 in 3074 chance per ingot. So if you pull out a stack of 64, it gives you a 64 in 3074 chance. So if you really wanted to, you could just make a bunch of furnaces, get you a bunch of different ores, and start smelting them into ingots. And I believe bauxite, gold, and iron do this. And you have a chance to get yourself a Meltan. Well, you might be thinking, why is the Meltan important? Well, the Meltan has a 25% chance of being a Ditto, which is significantly higher than the whole Rattata nonsense. The other final way and guaranteed way of getting a Ditto is to save up your points and go on to the GTS, the Global Trade Center. Now, this is only going to work if you're playing on a server that has a global trade. It's not going to go single player or anything like that, but if you manage to find yourself a Ditto for sale on here, or message another player who's selling a Ditto, there is a good chance of you getting it that way. So number 3 is going to be centered around teams, and this may not be in a lot of people's mods, but this is in the complex gaming mod. It's a viable thing to be using. So I'm in Team Forest, but if you look, you can see team ranks. And what do you get for having a high rank in these teams? Well, you get all these different benefits. One of them being a team safari zone. The other one being that you get access to the team mine. So those things are extremely important, extremely useful. Cuts down a lot on your grinding and having to worry about stuff out in the in the server. In addition to getting the team safari zones, you also get access to daily and weekly missions. So for example, if I go teams and I teleport to If I go teams and I teleport to the base, I can walk up here and there's an NPC that I can interact with, and it can give me daily missions. These things give me great balls, skill credits, team XP, candies, all the way up to master balls. So it's a very useful thing to have. Obviously, there are some other great benefits to having teams. Like I said, you can just simply go click on perks here and you can see that there's all kinds of stuff. So it's not a bad gig. So that is going to be my tip number 3, is to join teams. Okay, tip number 4, I actually don't have one right now. I lent it out to another member of our group, but it is going to be all about fishing. Any body of water can work for fishing. You can actually even fish in these little water areas like that we have here. If you can hit it, you can fish right inside of them and potentially get Pokemon. There's also items that you have a chance of getting, so you can always try to go that route. But leveling up your fishing is important because it allows your rod to get you rarer items. So things like I've fished up blue shards, which allow you to make the orb to get primal Kyogre. I've also fished up other rods, like a good rod I fished up a super rod with, and another super rod I fished up my super rod that I'm using with. So getting your fishing up is going to help you a lot, because there's going to be certain items and Pokemon that you can only obtain through fishing, and you don't want to be left out of that. Tip number 5 is participate in the server events. So world bosses, flash hunts. We even on the server have one where we can make our own hunt. You can see the flash hunt is for a Sunkern, but we could do easy hunts all the way up to insane hunts. Some are free, some you have to pay for. But basically, for 3 hours, you can go and you can hunt a particular Pokemon. The easy hunts, it's just got to be the correct breed, or the correct Pokemon, and the correct gender. But it goes all the way up to having the correct IV spread, the correct gender, the correct size. Each level adds a little bit more of a difficulty to catching these things, but they give you some really good rewards. So that would be my fifth and final tip, would be to go ahead and participate in these hunts, get the rewards. Some of them are keys that you can go get shiny keys for, and probably or potentially get shiny Pokemon. That is a viable strategy on the server. People do the missions, they get all the little keys, they go open stuff, they get a bunch of cool stuff. If they don't want it, they sell it. If they want it, then they have it. But that would be my biggest tip, and I will give you a bonus tip here. Bonus tip number 1, or bonus tip for the video, is going to be to get you a Gloom or something that knows Sweet Scent, because then you can go through and you can get you can use Sweet Scent to get some encounters that you otherwise couldn't get. So that is going to be my other tip for you. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you do, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. I'm going to be pushing out a lot more Pixelmon content. I've even got more tips videos coming. So go ahead, show the love, and as always, guys, I will see you in the next video.